We're not supposed to notice it. But the lighting of a character has a massive effect on how we perceive them. Great lighting can reflect the critical beats of a scene and a character's state of mind. Today, we'll utilize one of the most important lighting concepts of all, the fill light. Join us as we fill in the gap. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe below and click the bell icon to stay in the know. Let's look at the building blocks of lighting. Key and fill lights. Exposure is established with a combination of a key light and a fill light. The key light is the main light source in the scene, and the fill light counters the shadows cast by the key light, literally filling exposure into the shadows. Fill lights are usually placed at a complementary angle to the key light to increase or decrease the contrast of the lighting. A fill can be strong enough to virtually eliminate shadows, which creates a low contrast look. Or a fill light can be nearly non-existent to create dramatic contrast. So, when considering how to appropriately and effectively use a fill light, there are three aspects to consider: motivation, angle, and ratio. Motivation. Where's the light coming from? In this scene, the brightest elements in the frame are these practicals. This is a motivated source of light. So, the key wraps James in warm light. The DP establishes the motivated source. Then, they'll determine the angle of the light. Angle is the geometric relationship of key to fill light. The traditional angle to introduce a key light is on the subject's smart side, favored away from the camera. As a result, fill light is introduced on the dumb side, as this is where the shadow from the key will fall. Once a source and exposure is set, ratio comes into play. How much fill should be used? The intensity of the fill, relative to the key light, determines the contrast ratio. And it is this ratio that makes the fill light so vital to the overall lighting scheme. In this master, the smart side key light establishes a dramatic contrast ratio because the foreground fill is barely existent. But in this scene, the fill side exposure has increased, establishing a low contrast ratio. So, the fill light is often taken for granted, but you can see how massively important it really is to set the mood. Remember, the key light establishes the direction and exposure of the motivated source. The fill then determines the depth of the shadows created by the key. Keying a subject from the smart side and filling them from the dumb side offers the highest potential for depth in the image. What are some of your favorite films from a lighting perspective? Fill us in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon for notifications.